This is a quick video on how I painted the fire and the scales on this Balrog that I have. Sorry about the bad video quality. In any case, I basically started by painting all the flames white. That's going to be the flames up here and on the base. And then I also got a fairly small brush with some watery paint and just got it in between these little scales and segments. And so that'll create an underlighting a little bit later. After that, I basically soaked all of the white details in a very thinned down yellow paint. I just used this one. And then after that, it is time for dry brushing. So I only have this one dry brush. It's just like a medium one from Vallejo. And essentially, basically just start that whole thing with red, which is going to go over all these areas around the shoulders, around here, around the back of the wings. I also did some on top of the wings over here, and also some gray just as a side detail. And then also on the face, lots of red there. And then after that, moving on with orange, which went on the fire, and then a little bit closer to the source of the fire and near those white areas under the scales that I mentioned earlier. And then after that, another layer of red that's on top, on the tips of the fire, and then over most of these areas, a little bit closer to the fire as well. And so the whole thing is basically just layerings of yellow, red, and orange on top of the white, and just paying attention to the lighting. So the lightest areas are going to be at the bottom of the fire, and then darkest areas are at the top, so that's where the red's going to be, and that's where the yellow's going to be. And then for the scales, the yellow comes from underneath, and then the red is farthest away, again, because that's the least hot area. And then the closer you get to the source of the fire, the brighter it gets with orange, and then yellow, and then white. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful, and have a nice day.